terrible. My God, it shows you how little the Kennedy Center knows about Mark Twain. A more legitimate recipient some years ago was Lily Tomlin, who, when accepting the award, she stood on stage next to a bust of Twain on a small table, and she looked down at the bust of Mark Twain and she said, "Mark Twain and I have two things in common. We're both funny, and I'm starting to grow a mustache." They honored George Carlin a few years after that posthumously. Now here's when I mentioned lines that remind you of Benchley. Carlin once was talking about they had to put his old uncle into a home. And the name of the home, the official name of the home, was the Catholic home for those who up until 6 months ago were doing just fine. I was reminded of Art Buchwald just this past week when they released the transcript of Richard Nixon's grand jury testimony about 10 months after he resigned the presidency, and he defended Rosemary Wood. You remember Rosemary Wood, the secretary who erased 18.5 minutes of the White House tapes. Nixon said, "Oh, just a mistake, an error." At the time, Buchwald said that if Rosemary Wood had been Moses' secretary, we only would have had 3 commandments. A couple of years ago, I channeled my inner Ogden Nash and wrote a limerick about Twitter. As I Twitter my intimate affairs, the answer to a narcissist's prayers, I am glad, I am bitter, I am sad, Twitter, Twitter, assuming that anyone cares. On Facebook, on Twitter, you see, I'm fascinating to every degree. I'm oh so compelling. My head, it is swelling. My favorite person is me. Now, the question always comes up. Is there anything you can't joke about? And I hear that all the time. Tedious discussions. Anything you can't joke about. I'm wondering how many people at Penn State are going to wind up in the state pen.